Hello YouTube. About a week or so ago I made a community post where I asked you guys to ask me some questions that you had about me. Now I'm here to answer them. What inspired you to be a content creator, and are you planning to pursue it as a full-time career? So as a kid I was chronically on YouTube all the time. I always had an iPad in my hands and I was watching all these different creators. I think some of my favorites growing up were probably Nigahiga, Smosh, Theoxcast, Achievement Hunter, Muselk, Northern Lion, and Game Theory, just to name a few. I was really into gaming and I really wanted to be one of those types of creators growing up. As I grew up, I kind of started realizing that YouTube might not be the most sustainable career path, because I always thought, oh, it's too risky, you never know if you're gonna make it. So that kind of made me not consider it a real career, and I was like, okay, this would be really fun, but I'm never gonna pursue it. Just as a random thing, I decided to take a streamer I liked and edit their video, and I sent it to them, and I was like, okay, this is pretty cool, maybe I can put it on my portfolio, this will be nice. And at the very end of that email, I included a line. I was like, if you want to work with me in the future, you know, just let me know, I'd be down. And to my surprise, they were actually willing to work with me. So I edited a few videos for them, and that was really my first contact with YouTube content and my first time ever seeing actual views beyond a video I was working on. And obviously I wasn't a content creator, I was just the editor, but just seeing people enjoy my edits and enjoy the videos I was making was enough for me to be like, okay, I do not care how sustainable this is or how risky it is, I want to make this something I want to do. So that made me decide, okay, I need to figure out how I'm going to turn content creation into something that I did. And so while I started college, I talked to a few people, I watched a few YouTube videos, and eventually led me to the idea of 30 and 30. So I can absolutely say that this is something that I would love to do full time. Obviously right now I'm a college student, this is just my freshman year, so for the time that I'm in college, I can't really make it my full-time career. I'm going to just be treating it as a hobby. I'm going to be making videos, possibly not once a week after 30 and 30, but I'm still going to be making videos throughout my time in college and hopefully getting better. Once I'm done with college, then I can evaluate where I'm at, so we'll see how it goes whenever I end up graduating. But for now, it's definitely in my plan to do it full-time if it becomes financially stable enough. Do you edit your own videos, and if so, did you learn, self-taught or not, and what do you use to edit and how do you go about it? I do edit my own videos. In fact, one of the reasons that I just talked about for starting this entire series was practicing my editing. So in a way, this entire series is to show my growth as an editor and also act as a basic portfolio. So yeah, editing is one of the most things I'm focused on. It's actually one of my favorite parts of content creation, so I really love doing my own editing. To edit, I use Adobe Premiere, but if you're just starting out and you can't really afford the Adobe Creative Cloud, then I highly recommend just using DaVinci Resolve. It's a free option, but it's totally usable as an editing software and is like the industry standard for color grading. So if you need something to start out with, just use DaVinci. If you want to eventually upgrade to Premiere, then you can, but to be honest, there's a lot of really good things about DaVinci, and there's parts of me that wished I had learned, but now I'm just so deep into Premiere that I'm just saying, okay, might as well keep using it since it's what I've been using for years. In terms of how I actually learned, it was a pretty simple process. I'm completely self-taught. I never did any fancy classes or anything. There was just a really simple process that I used, which was basically just create content, which sounds really simple, but you just need to find an excuse for yourself to edit something. For many, many years, that was just school projects. Anytime a teacher in class would say, okay, you're going to find a group and you're going to make a presentation, I would always tell my group, okay guys, we're making a video. And every time I did one of those projects, no matter how simple it was, I always said, okay, I'm going to challenge myself to do one thing that I didn't do last time, or I'm going to try and do one effect that's a little bit more difficult and try and learn something. And you would be surprised the amount of resources that are just on YouTube. If you look up like any effect you could possibly want and just look up on YouTube, there is probably a tutorial for that effect. So over time I would look up like, okay, how do I put text on screen? How do I make an image move around? How do I make little clones of myself? And I would just keep on adding these things into my toolkit. And the more that you work on these things, the more that they're going to become more instinctual, so that at that point you don't have to look up, how am I going to put text on screen? You can already put the text on screen and think, okay, now using my skills, how can I make this more fancy? All right, the next question is a fun one. There's a runaway trolley barreling down the railroad tracks. Ahead on the tracks, there are 5 people tied up and unable to move. The trolley is headed straight for them. You are standing some distance off in the train yard next to a lever. If you pull this lever, the trolley will switch to a different set of tracks. However, you notice that there is one person on the side track. You have 2 and only 2 options. Do nothing, in which case the trolley will kill the 5 people on the main track, or pull the lever, diverting the trolley onto the side track where it will kill just 1 person. Which is the more ethical option, or put more simply, what is the right thing to do? Let's all say thank you to Brady for making me answer the trolley problem in a lighthearted Q&A. Yay! But that being said, I ain't no wimp. I'm going to do my best to answer the trolley problem. Ahem. Based on my understanding, there are several different schools of thought that lead to different solutions for the trolley problem. The first being the utilitarian perspective, where you're saying, okay, this is 5 human lives versus 1 human life. In that sense, it's always going to be right to change the tracks to the 1 person, because that person will just be 1 person. You have 1 person dying instead of 5 people dying. So that is the right choice. But there's also the other perspective that's saying, okay, by already being on this track, the decision to kill the 5 people is already made, so there's already going to be some moral injustice going on with the situation. You, as the trolley conductor, now have a choice. You can let the 5 people die, in which case you're doing nothing when you're pulling that lever, or you can pull the lever, and in that case you're choosing to kill 1 person. So there's either choosing to kill 1 person or 5 people dying, which is already going to happen. So from that viewpoint, pulling the lever is actually wrong because you're choosing to kill the 1 person. So at the end of the day, what's the right decision? Personally, I subscribe to this viewpoint.
I would dangle a sharp blade out the window to slice the neck of the guy on the other track as we smush our 5 main guys.
Question number 4. What is your rank on support, and what's your favorite support besides Ana? My current rank is Platinum 2, but I'm kind of bouncing between Platinum 3 and Platinum 2. My goal for this season is to try and hit Plat 1, maybe Diamond, but we'll see how it goes. I don't really have a lot of time to play the game these days because of videos in school, but that's my rough goal. I personally really enjoy everyone on the support roster. I'm just a big fan of the support playstyle in general, so I wouldn't say I have like a particular favorite. Of course, Ana is my main, but that's just because I've been playing her a lot recently. I think that I also really enjoy Kiriko. Part of her is just because she's like really new, so she's very strong right now. But I also just like her playstyle in terms of being able to jump all around the map and save people with Suzu. It's a really fun playstyle. And also Lucio is always going to hold a special place in my heart. He was my first support main back in the day when I was playing in like 2017. I really liked his movement options. I really like being able to boot people all over the place, so Lucio will always hold a special place in my heart as a support hero. Question number 5. What do you like most about creating on YouTube? I think I like the entire process. I like sitting up at night and just having a random idea come to my mind and jotting it down and being like, that would be a great idea. I like taking that idea to the brainstorming and being like, okay, how do I turn this into an interesting video? How do I make it something that people will want to watch? How do I structure it properly? I like to actually shoot it. Being in front of the camera is really fun for me, so that part is also really enjoyable. I've liked learning a lot more about lighting and shooting and that part of production because I'm a post-production man. I do the editing. That is what I'm comfortable with. I'm not as comfortable with setting up a camera, setting up lighting, so I've been learning a lot more about that, and that's been a ton of fun. And obviously, I really enjoy editing. I think a video is really made or broken in the edit, and so having that much control over my videos and basically being able to completely restructure it after it's already recorded is just really fun to me. So I like the learning, I like the challenge, I like the art piece of it, and I of course really like the community that you get to grow as a content creator. Having all these people come to your video and see it and give you feedback, both positive and negative, is just really fun for me because I like engaging with people and I like talking about the things I'm interested in. So honestly, the entire process from start to finish is just honestly my favorite thing in the entire world. I think I enjoy all of it, and that might change as I keep doing it for longer than 11 weeks, but as of right now, every single part of the process is just super fun and I am enjoying all of it thoroughly. What is my favorite late night snack? I'm a really big fan of Chex Mix. That's probably my favorite go-to like snack bag. I really like the brown ones. Like there's like little brown burnt kind of ones. I think that's a controversial take, but I really enjoy those. Those are my favorite kind. I also really like salt and vinegar chips. I don't know why. I think I like Pain, but I really enjoy those. Also, if you're from Canada, I really enjoy ketchup chips, okay? I moved from Canada to the United States when I was a kid, and the main thing that I miss is ketchup chips, okay? If you have never had ketchup chips and you live somewhere where they're being sold, give them a try, okay? Lay's ketchup chips. They are absolutely schmackin', trust me, okay? They are great. What's my favorite album of 2022? There's this musician that I discovered recently from, I think, probably Reddit or Instagram or something, Tom Cardy. He's freaking fire. I don't see him being talked about enough. I haven't really met anyone else that's listened to him, but all of his songs are so good. I really admire his comedy, his creativity, and his editing. Every part of his songs are all just so satisfying to listen to. He recently released a new album on Spotify called Big Dumb Idiot, and all of the songs are just super amazing. In post-production, I'm gonna put a list of my favorites, I think, on screen right now. So bam, here are my favorite Tom Cardy songs. Go listen to them, and then also just go listen to his entire collection of music. You will not be disappointed. They are all just amazing songs. What is my favorite video game of all time? This is an extremely challenging question. I've been playing games probably for as long as I can remember. I've been a gamer my entire life, so narrowing it down to one game is extremely tough, but I will try. Number one, I think Minecraft is always going to be just a special game for me. I've been playing it since 2010. I've been through every single stage of the game, from alpha to beta to every single other stage up to now, and it's been really fun. I really enjoy the creativity. I really enjoy randomly starting a server with my friends every 3 months just to insanely play on it for 1 month and then let it die for another year. But you know, Minecraft is always something I go back to. I also like Terraria a lot. I think that's a game where I've put probably the most time in. I think I have more than 2,000 hours in that game right now. It's just a really fun survival game that I really enjoy. They keep on updating it too, which is just insane, because that means I can come back every few months and there will be new content, so it's insane that they're still updating that game as well. Another game that I really enjoyed as a kid was TF2. It was my first FPS ever. I started playing back in 2011. I'm a medic main, of course, and it's something that I don't play as much regularly just because of the bots and how abandoned the game feels, but every now and again I'll boot it up, play a few games of Upward or something, and it's pretty fun. The final game that I've been enjoying a lot recently is Risk of Rain 2. That's the only game I've ever 100% completed. I bought it and then completed all the achievements, and now every time any new DLC is released, I'll come back and sweep through all those as well. So it's a really fun roguelike, and it's one of the few 3D roguelikes. So if you're a fan of the roguelike genre, please check out Risk of Rain 2 because it is absolutely amazing. Do I enjoy basket weaving? Some would call me the Michael Jordan of basket weaving. If you understand that reference, thank you. Why a SpongeBob popsicle? Because I felt like it. A friend suggested that when I hit 1,000 subs, so I should get a little treat for myself. So we went to the store and I was like, okay, what is the silliest thing that I could purchase in this moment right now? And then I looked in the ice cream section and there it was, the SpongeBob popsicle. And I was like, this is perfect. This is representative of everything that I've ever accomplished. I want this SpongeBob popsicle. So yeah, that's the answer. And the final question, Overwatch 1 or Overwatch 2? This is a very tough question for me. I started playing Overwatch in 2016 when it was released. I think I was in middle school, and I played it for a few years, but eventually my friend group kind of just drifted away and we're moving on to other games. So I didn't want to be the only one that was still playing Overwatch, so I also moved on. I think I moved on right around when Brigitte was released, so I was never really around for like Roll Q or even Goats meta I wasn't even around for, so a lot of Overwatch 1 I missed, but like those early Overwatch 1 days, like those were absolutely amazing. Like, do you remember when Symmetra was a support? That was crazy. Or like when Doomfist released, I think the entire community just like exploded. We were all wondering if like Terry Crews was gonna voice Doomfist. That was very fun. But when the beta for Overwatch 2 released, that's kind of what brought me back into the game. And now I've matured, I've grown, and I've really started appreciating the competitive side of it more. So before I was much more of a casual player, I just played the events, I played for fun with my friends, but now I really enjoy the grind of trying to get better and improve myself as a player. And some might argue that doing that as a support is a little bit silly with the current state of matchmaking, but I love pain, okay? I will play support in any game, no matter how overpowered or underpowered the role is. I am just a support main through and through. So I will put myself through that trauma to play support because it's just what I enjoy doing. So at the end of the day, for me, Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2 are just completely different games from entirely different points in my life. Overall though, that is all the questions. If anyone else has any other questions you would like to ask, please just let me know in the comments. I will try and answer every single question that I can. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this Q&A. I will see you all next week.